Welcome to the Preacher After Show here at the Stream.tv. Wow. We're winding down this season, like big time, and I know, and it's kind of sad. I'm your host, Jocelyn Polite, and I'm joined by my friends and co-hosts, and to my immediate right...
Hey everybody, I'm Timothy Michael. Follow us on Twitter using the hashtag PreacherAS, and then also join our fan group on Facebook using the Preacher Fan Group. I'm out of it. To my right. Thanks,
I got you. Hey everyone, my name is Kiyra Lynn, and I am on the YouTube chat. So if you guys want to shoot some questions, or if we are totally not using our right minds, please tell us.
Yeah.
Please tell us in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, well, who knew you could take a bus to hell?
Oh.
Like, that was out of control.
Distant vistas. I don't want to book with them.
I know. This episode was a little, like, all over the place. And I know we're going to really talk about that, but, yeah, the whole, like, bus to hell thing was really interesting. And this whole salon, the way that it opened was really interesting, too. So let's dive right on into it with our killer cowboy, who is, besides Cassidy, my favorite character.
Yes.
I really like him. So his presence is so... his presence is so strong.
Yes.
Yeah. Like the bottles are rattling. What is that? Because I mean, I know we learned later in the episode, and Timothy, you had some input on this about is Ratwater hell? Because everything was rattling, and it's kind of like, is this the devil? What kind of thing does he have in him?
Well, I feel like Ratwater is his version of hell. Because I feel like when he first walked into the bar, if you guys remember, the little boy said there's a storm, the little kid said there's a storm coming. You could take shelter in here, and then that's when the fight broke out. And then after he kills everybody, he's standing at the bar and he's taking a drink, and all of the
Keeps repeating.
Well, it keeps repeating, but all of the bottles are like shattering and like shaking off the shelf. And then we see these clouds at the end of the episode. I think there was like a tornado or something, and it killed him, like wiped out the entire town. And that's why he's forced to repeat everything over and over again.
Just
like
in
the
a
last
really bad Groundhog's Day.
He is in a really bad Groundhog's Day, and I was just wondering what all that was, because the bottles were rattling, and I was like, what is going on? When LeBlanc, and we'll get to LeBlanc. Okay, well, I mean, because I'm gonna say just right off the bat, I don't really like the way they went back over and over again. I know we're joking about it being like Groundhog's Day, but that was really honestly a negative for me in this episode. We had to replay everything over and over again that we've actually seen towards the beginning of the season, and I don't know why.
I was like, they keep recapping.
Yeah.
That one episode, was it episode 2? They keep recapping episode 2 over and over and over and over again.
Right.
But I mean, that's what hell is, though, you know? You have to go through, or sometimes some people's versions of hell is you have to repeat the worst day of your life.
Right.
And from that, and if you think about it, the recap started when he left his wife and child, and then got to Ratwater, and then henceforth everything that happened after that. But he is forced to repeat the worst days of his life.
So when the scene settled and you see the entire ground floor of the bar, it's literally just piled up with bodies. Do you think and if this is hell, does he just keep killing people who happen to land in hell, and that's why the bodies keep getting higher, or does he just keep repeating and killing the same people over and over again?
And where's Eugene if he's in hell? I mean, really,
but
like,
I did think that.
I thought that he would pop up for some reason. I don't know why. I just figured, like, he would pop up in some kind of way.
Well, we didn't even know that was hell until like the end of the episode, and by that time, Fiora and DeBlanc were already there, and I thought that Fiora and DeBlanc were going down there to find Eugene.
That's what I thought too.
Right, but obviously that's not why they went down there.
Well, we haven't developed his character, the Cowboy's character, fully. I mean, I know we made some progress, but we didn't develop it as much as I thought that it was going to be developed this season. But it was great to see his interaction with someone different, with LeBlanc and Fiora going down to hell and, or down, whatever, to hell, and recruiting him, basically, or asking, or as you said, the trip.
Well, here's my question, because I was actually really shocked by that engagement of the three of them, because clearly the Cowboy doesn't mess around, and when DeBlanc had asked him or said that we had a mission, and he was like, well, what is it? And he's like, well, we'll tell you when you come with us. He just blankly shot him.
Yeah, he didn't answer the question.
So here's my thing. Does he get to come back because he got killed in hell?
You're in hell has the rules are different.
Right, because then they showed Fiora's face, and Fiora was like genuinely really scared when he had the gun pointed at him, and I was like, I don't think that they can come back.
No.
And after seeing Fiora and DeBlanc's relationship evolve in this episode,
that's
really sad.
Yeah, with that one part where they were like, oh, then we won't be together if we go to hell. Didn't they say that? So I was like, is there like a romantic thing going on between the two of them?
Could be a bromance of some sort.
But I was like,
I don't think it's a bromance.
Oh,
though.
okay. You think okay? Well, I like
talk
the
about
whole
it.
I like the whole thing about the trip to hell. I thought was really interesting with the lady that they were buying the tickets from. Which,
But that's another reason why I thought
Yeah.
that it's a little bit more than a bromance, because
Right.
when she was like, okay, well, the money that you have isn't enough, I want 20 minutes with the other guy, and then DeBlanc got up and was like, no, that's not necessary. I don't know. I think it's more than a bromance.
yeah, I do too. I think it's something else.
well, what I did like about with the cowboy is we finally connected a dot. Now we understand why he's here, where it was like, where's this old cowboy here from, like, way back when? And now we understand what his purpose is now.
Yeah, vengeance.
Yeah.
Of some sort. Well, and this purpose and whatever LeBlanc and Fior wanted him, to do. I mean, they want him to kill the preacher.
So is it that, and maybe I'm just completely flying off topic here, but what gives him like the said power to be able to go back to modern day?
Right.
And
Why was he chosen?
yeah, why?
Yeah, and we didn't get any input into that, and I think a lot of that has to do with flashing back, unless I missed something, which is highly likely. But why was he chosen? Is it his level of evil? Is it his level of killing? I mean, if he's piling bodies up, then possibly, he's...
I feel like it has a lot to do with the timing of his death. If, in fact, that's what happened at the end of the episode when he got killed by the tornado, which, in fact, if that's what it was. These are just my theories. Because I'm like, okay, well, you just killed all these people and then you died.
Right.
So that's, like, pretty much inherently evil.
Well, we'll see what they do with him next episode.
Last and final episode.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, with this power, and I know one of the questions, and we were talking a little bit before we went on, and I was telling Tim, with this whole power that he has, how is he going to be able, why does he feel like he's going to be able to convince God to return to mankind and help out?
First
Like
gotta
I'm not
find him.
connecting the dot between Genesis and going up against God. I mean, I know that God is afraid of Genesis and that he left because of Genesis. But what, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand, like, how, I guess I'm not seeing how powerful this is. And I think that it's because when they've done this with Jesse and he says the word, and he's like, hey, go kill yourself or go do this or praise God or whatever he says. I don't know if it's been developed in the kind of way where we see how truly powerful this Genesis thing is. I mean, we saw it in the first episode, but...
I don't even think Jesse has a dot to connect to how
No.
he's going to
I
find
agree
God,
with
because he
you.
didn't even have the phone. Cassidy had the phone.
Right.
So it's the phone
Right.
with the direct line to heaven. So it's like, I don't even think he knows what he's doing at
Right.
this point.
And at this point, like when he was saying that he was going to bring everybody to the church, I just thought maybe he was going back to the original plan where he was going to use the word on the congregation. That's where I was going with that. I don't know if he necessarily, up until he reconnected with Cassidy, that he knew that he had
Yeah.
a direct line to God.
Okay.
So I don't, unless after that point the plan has now changed, I guess we'll find out.
And clearly Odin feels
Yeah.
the same way. 'cause-
I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Now, one of the things that wasn't clear to me, well, we know that Jesse from last episode is alive, barely alive, but we found out this episode that Jesse used the fire extinguisher to put him out because he said, "You put me
I
out."
love that, yeah.
But I'm like, did he put him out and just leave him on the ground in front of the church? You know what I mean? Like, I just thought to myself, like, how did he get in that condition? How did he get to Tulip's house or whatever?
Yeah.
But anyway, Cassidy is obviously in a bad way, and animals and hamsters and dogs are not working.
But I guess like we can bring it back to what you were saying
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
last
I'm glad that you
episode.
brought that up,
Like, Tim was asking, does it take a special kind of blood? And yes, you
Yes,
were
it
right.
does. Yeah. No, because
Live
she
blood.
tried. Yeah, she tried the synthetic
Yeah.
blood. She said that, and it didn't work. So I guess he needed a
Call,
human.
Tim.
I tried. I tried to be
Yeah, well, he
clever.
needs like live blood, and I don't even know why they were bothering really with like hamsters and rats and stuff because that's not going to
Well,
feed
who
him.
wants
He's totally
to kill a
sick.
human besides Emily?
Also remember in the very first episode when he was getting like trashed and he was in the airplane when he was fighting off those people.
Yeah.
Remember he took the wine bottle and stuck it into that person and drank all of that human blood before he
Yes.
plummeted down and then took the cow. So he was already pumped with human blood.
Yeah.
Maybe that helped him heal.
Yeah, and I think he also has. I mean, maybe you just really have to be a bad person for him because I don't know. I don't think Cassidy's the type of vampire in this series where he really wants to go after humans. I think he's perfectly content, drinking from animals and stuff like that. I don't think that human, but probably human blood tastes the best and heals him the fastest. But I don't think that it's what he really wants to do. But he did take the mayor out.
He did.
So, well, actually, Emily did, right?
Emily did. I was like, do not give Cassidy any credit for that because he was up in
you're
one
right.
burnt
You're
to
right.
crisp. Couldn't do nothing.
Well, Emily, I didn't know that. I figured she was kind of tired of him anyway. I mean, he's kind of annoying. But but I did. I mean, she's doing him.
She just asked him to pick up her kids like an hour before.
But she doesn't like him. She doesn't like him.
She's annoyed with him.
Yeah.
She's just like,
He's in the
guess.
meantime. She's in love with Jesse.
That doesn't give her a right to kill him.
Not to kill him, but he's in the way of where she wants to go with
Hey,
Jesse.
I'll just say, all of us were shocked that, she pulled her khakis down for the mayor when we were all surprised.
Yeah.
Like, she's doing the mayor. I saw that coming, but I'm not surprised.
Okay, look,
I'm not surprised.
look. Here's my thing with this episode. I feel like everybody took a character turn in this episode. Sheriff Fruit did what he did in the bathroom.
Yes.
Emily did what she did with the mayor. Cassidy did what he did with the mayor.
With the mayor,
So it's like I feel like everybody took a character turn in this episode.
Yeah.
And I know that it got a lot of heat on, social media and stuff like that for being all over the place, but there were a lot of character developments that could definitely go on to next season because all of these people, because we talked about it a few episodes ago when we said, is this town just inherently evil?
Right.
And I think that's what it's about. I think all these people in this town are damaged goods.
Well, everybody in this town, apparently this town is like stuck above hell. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
right.
is that really, but is that essentially, actually, that's a good point.
because you see the tree.
But also Eugene, remember Eugene when the vision of Eugene came with Jesse and Jesse was like, hey, how's hell? And he was like, it's surprisingly not that far.
Right.
Right. Well, I mean, and to go back, I know we've got to move on, but to go back, I wanted to even go back to when we found out about Eugene and that, the girl that he shot and then he shot himself and everything. And remember I said, what is up in this town that people are like, it seems like everybody has a major problem in this town. Now that we look back at what happened with the cowboy in this episode and we're seeing that it's hell when they went to go get him, like, you're right. This is above surface, like, they're right above hell. So
They're right
that's
above
why
hell
there's
now.
always, right,
Again,
exactly.
it's like all these little nuggets that they've been giving us all throughout this season.
Are coming
It
together.
is finally coming together. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
So if Genesis, if they were able to kill, if Cowboy's able to kill Jesse and Genesis returns to wherever Genesis is supposed to go, and I'm assuming heaven or whatever, why do they feel as though Genesis is not going to go find another person? I mean, if it was in Africa and Russia and everywhere else prior to, wouldn't it just hop into another, human form to do the work that it wants to do?
Yeah. I totally agree with you.
So these tinker boxes and tin cans and song, I don't necessarily think is something that's working, but I guess maybe the cowboy will. And so Emily, like we talked a little bit about her, I feel as though, you guys were saying that she's teaming up with Tulip. And their relationship, I want to see fleshed out a little bit more because Tulip, I think she's picking things up from Tulip that is really inside of her. I think there's a lot that she admires.
Here's my
with
thing.
her.
Here's my theory about Emily. I feel like she sees why Jesse likes Tulip, and she wants Jesse to like her, so she's
Right.
trying to emulate whatever she can from Tulip, and that's why she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah, because if that's what he likes, and this episode he actually, what he was talking to Tulip, and it looked like he was trying to reconcile things.
Yeah,
A little bit.
I would like it, but I would personally like it better if Emily was really like a Tulip deep down inside and not just trying to hey,
like her.
Hey girl, oh she's wearing red today, I'm gonna be wearing red today too. You know what I mean?
But in all fairness, we haven't seen Tulip, she's knocked some people out in the first episode, but I don't remember she killed them.
Right.
But Emily straight up killed this man. And she did it for Cassidy. So I'm like, maybe because there was a whole friction thing with her and Cassidy. And maybe they're close. Maybe she likes him a little bit more
It's
than...
this town. They're all killers.
Maybe
It's
that
this
weird
town.
family dinner that they all had brought them all together a little bit closer. I mean,
Do we think that Eugene is the missing piece in this whole thing? Like, he's the only one out of everybody that's sane because of how close to death he came?
Possibly.
Maybe?
Possibly.
Because he doesn't seem like he's a killer. I mean,
But he did. Well, he did shoot somebody. That's
right,
the thing.
You're
So
right.
everybody in this town, in some way, is a killer of some sort. And this little town that's above hell is just it's not good.
Hey, you guys in the chat, please chime in
Yeah,
on
chime
this
in. We want-
because we want your input on this. Please feel free, let us know.
Okay, well, Sheriff Root did a character turn, like you said, because I wasn't expecting that. I didn't necessarily think that he was the nicest, most moral person. I didn't think that. But at the same time, I didn't think he would actually kill.
I mean, back from that, I didn't even
angel.
think that Seraphim girl was alive.
I thought she was, yeah.
No.
I was like, oh, she's
But
like.
she had to have been alive. That was the only way. Otherwise, she would have kept coming back for the guy.
Well, when he said de-articulated her, I didn't know what that meant. None of us knew what that meant.
Right.
But I didn't expect it to
Well,
be.
she's not dead, so she can't walk, she can't grab, she can't shoot, she can't do anything.
And why
She's
does
just
she have
sitting in the
ice
tub.
on her?
to keep her limbs from decomposing.
But I thought that they were. Okay, so when her limbs were, because I saw that her limbs were black, I was like, either they cauterized her wounds with fire, or they iced her.
That's the reason why they keep her. Scary that I know this.
That's, yeah, I don't think I want to be on Kira's
Kira's
side.
telling us things about herself.
Mess with me.
I
Thank you
won't.
very much.
But do we think that that Sheriff Root, what type of vengeance do we think that Sheriff Root is going to have? I can't talk. Sheriff Root is going to have when he finds Jesse, because Jesse said that he sent him to hell. So Root thinks that he killed his son, and what kind of vengeance is he going to have? I think he's going to.
The Sheriff Root in the TV episode is a puss for me.
Yeah.
Like he's just he's been eating way too many donuts. I mean, come on, people broke into his house and wrote that cryptic message to his son. I mean, obviously he is not a sheriff that anybody in this town is remotely afraid of. So I'm like, what do you think he's really going to do? I don't think he has to do anything.
He has a character turn. I think that killing the Seraphim in the tub, I think for him, he's going to go after Jesse like guns blazing.
No, is it because you think that Sheriff Root thinks that that it's Jesse is the one that chopped the Seraphim, and do you think that's the turn?
Well, I mean,
Possible.
he's a detective, so he's going to figure out who is in there, and they're obviously going to discover that Fior and LeBlanc were the ones that were inhabiting this room. But there was a lot of blood in there, so if they ever do any DNA tests, which I'm not saying that they will, because
probably not, because this is Anvil.
Right. They'll see that Jesse's blood is in there too.
Yeah,
True.
So,
that's true.
I mean,
this episode for me was a little disjointed, and this wasn't my favorite one out of the whole. I feel like I got a lot of knowledge into where this was like the setup episode. I feel like for an ending and to set us up for season 2, because there was a lot of things that I didn't fully get this episode, and there was a lot of repeating. Did you? I mean, that was like the biggest negative to me, was the repeating of things. So how did you guys feel about that? I mean, overall, I love the show. It's just this episode didn't sit on me well. Maybe I need to watch it again.
Okay, so my favorite part of the whole episode was, Emily serving the mayor.
Oh, yes.
So out of all of that, that was my favorite
Yeah.
part of the episode. So, but I'll agree with you. Again, I'll say it again. I like the fact that they're connecting the dots, and we know where the Cowboy is going. We understand why he's there, but I kind of agree with you.
I'm going to disagree. I actually really liked this episode.
You
I
did?
I did. I liked the character turns. I liked that they were, like you said, setting something up and having everybody take this darker turn, because it's only going to create more friction in the season finale and then the season to come. Right. I liked it.
I just hope the Cowboy changes his clothes when he goes to Anvil.
I don't think you will.
You don't think so? You think he's gonna have that long coat and
No.
He's a man to be reckoned with.
I'm sure there's not like a H&M or Sears.
No, he shops at Zara. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh my
Thanks for clearing that up.
Okay, well, we're gonna take a quick break actually, and then we're gonna come right back and we're gonna discuss a little bit of the comic book, and then we're gonna get to your shout outs. So we'll be right back in just a moment.
Bye guys. See you soon.
Pew, 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 pew.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live. In case you missed it live. How did we not figure that out?
High five.
Just to let
They did what to me?
We had a crazy vampire threesome.
And you can't unsee that. That's burned into my brain now.
I was like,
You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes.
Look at me, I'm dancing.
He was like, yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want.
He is like something.
And we're like, ooh, inseparable.
These hoes ain't look.
You just went to a totally different direction on that one.
I love it. That's genius.
We're funny.
Billionaire goes broke, it means he's got like $4 million.
There's got to be a code on that.
This might actually be a thing.
Somebody better take some pictures of this.
What did I do? What is there?
Are we there yet? Can we talk about this?
We've been waiting all night.
I don't like break nails.
You can't count anything out.
It's been another awesome night at the Stream.tv, guys.
Thank you for joining us, you guys.
Food court. No, I don't.
Oh my God.
Don't do that again.
Remember to follow all of your favorite after shows right here at thestream.tv and to follow thestream.tv on all social media.
Yes, please.
Oh, so it's shout out time. Woo, Timothy! Shout out time. Who you have shout outs for?
Awesome. So we've got some Twitter shout outs. Thank you guys for following us on Twitter. At Nubian New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker, so that just stood out to me. Thanks for following us. And at I might say this wrong, Irie, I-R-I-E. Thanks for following us, you guys.
Matt or Mike?
Mike.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know Mike?
I
Oh,
see.
apparently she know Mike.
Hey. All right, Kira, what's going on in the chat?
We have tons of people in the chat. Let's say hi to Zello Police, Trinidad, hello. Shelly is here, Bant, Kular, who else? We've got a ton of people. Mark Senna, hey, how you doing? And Spencer Harris, they're all joining us up on the chat. And again, all the comments in the, last week's episode, you guys are off the chain. I love you guys. We had Grimjaw Jack, he always comments. We also had Gabriel, Ram Simpkins, Umar Sories, Faquad. Hi, Faquad, you're
Faquad.
back.
Hey, Faquad.
And then, let's see, Mackie D said, I haven't read this comic, but this episode seemed more like the comic book than the others. It was a very trippy episode. I liked it, though, even though I did feel a bit lost in some moments. But, you know, I hope you keep sticking it out, Mackie. We're still, even though this episode wasn't all that for me, I'm still loving every moment of it. So, but
And
thank
there's
you
only
guys.
one more episode left.
I
so,
know.
mean,
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we're going to go into talking a bit about the comic, and we want to talk. I think we really want to talk about the Cowboy, which in the comic books is a saint of killers, which is the first four issues. And so we're going to talk about that. And for those of you that don't want the spoiler, you know, then we want to wish you a wonderful night, and that we'll definitely see you for the last and final episode of Preacher for this season. So that's our little alert when we give a spoiler alert that we're going to go into the comics. Okay. So going into the comic part, I agree with the comment that we had on the chat where this episode was more like the comic, but the differences that they have with the Cowboy, there's a lot of difference, and I actually really like the way that they developed him in the comic. I like the way I wanted to see how they were going to show him going to hell.
Yes.
That was so important to me, and
well, I feel like just going to hell and not seeing any kind of what's the word? Incarnation of the devil is kind of a cop out. You know what I mean?
Completely cut out.
because he fought the devil. He fought the devil. Like, I mean, tooth and nail, they fought. And this devil in the comic, you know, was really this, like, there was two of them down there, and it was like a massively gross, like, grotesque, evil character, and he actually kind of out-eviled the devil in that sense. And so I didn't know how they could do it in television, but I really wanted, that was like an important part that I wanted to see.
So, and I doubt that all of that's going to come in episode 10, but it was, for me, it was like a big gaping hole. And as I said it before, it's like, because we had all that backstory of Saint of Killers, we understand why he was chosen and why he has the power to, you know, go after Jesse and you know, kill him and get Genesis, la, 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 la. But it's like what they showed today, I was like, meh.
Well, because the part that doesn't connect for maybe the people who are, you know, that didn't read the comics and are watching it, is that when you were talking about the body pile up in there, you know, when he went to hell, you know, and they gave him the power to go and get, you know, Genesis, he is not to miss a shot, ever.
Yep.
So, you know, when we say guns blazing, he's not supposed to miss a shot. He's not supposed to miss anybody. Everybody dies pretty much right there with him. So when that happened and he was going off and he was shooting everyone, I was like, that's that moment where I was like, oh, he's already been to hell, and that's already happened.
And here's another thing that I wanted to just kind of point out. Fiora and DeBlanc said that they would go after him, or they thought to Jesse in the show, to go and kill him to get Genesis out of him, but yet they hired, the Saint of Killers, because they think that he's not influenced by the voice.
Right.
But in the comics, he is.
Yes.
Because after the motel room with Sheriff Root and stuff like that, he told him to drop the gun, and he does. So I'm like, well, why won't they do it themselves in this show?
Well, he's not. He doesn't look as. I think so far that we know of him in the show, he doesn't look as powerful as in the comics. I mean, I think he looks. I feel like the whole really cowboy thing about him has really come out because that's easy, I think, to watch. But that power thing to me in a comic book was easier to read.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I just disappointed.
Yeah, disappointed. I'm disappointed in his character development. I wanted a little more with him because I actually enjoyed reading the comics on him, and I thought it was really interesting the way that they brought that through. And I kind of thought one of the things that did come to mind when I did read the comics was how it seemed like he would be more powerful than Jesse. So when he was going to hunt him, it seemed like he would win, hands down.
Well, because Jesse, Tulip, and Cassidy go on the run. They run away from him. So it's like if they were more powerful, then they would just fight him. But
exactly.
They don't.
I know.
Well, maybe they'll just save all that backstory and save all that for season 2. Now that we know,
I don't know.
Sure.
I think that season 2, the grandmother is going to come in.
Oh yeah.
I want the grandmother to come and bring grandma.
Yeah.
Bring grandma. I want
that.
her to come in and I want to see Jody and TC and I want to see all of them because that and another thing, I don't want them to miss a beat on any of that as well.
No, because
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also develops
But they've already
Jesse.
kind of muddled that. They haven't introduced his mom yet.
Right.
They made his dad a completely bigger character in the show than he was in the comics because Jesse's dad died when he was really young, and it's like.
Now we're just sounding like those typical.
I know.
That's true. But there's definite differences, and I think that I think it's okay to do that when we talk about the comic portion because the people that have read the comics, I think you compare. You know what I mean? And there's some things that you like, and there's some things that you don't like, and it's okay. You know what I mean? And we're here. We're not experts. We're fans. Of the show. So we're here to just talk about what we like, what we don't.
Well, Shelley in the comments is basically saying someone said that they thought the whole town was going to sink because of Anvil's apparent sinkhole problem. So maybe everybody's just going to sink into hell.
Right. Exactly. It's time to move. Pack your bags. People, pack your bags. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for us today for the Preacher After Show here at the Stream.tv. We will be back next week for the final and last episode of this season. So make sure that you join us. Also, talk to us all week. We'll be on social media. We'll be on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Instagram. Just talk to us and let us know. And in the comment section below, let us know what you're thinking because we'd love to have a conversation with you and talk preacher. Kira's all fired up for that.
I love the comment section.
Okay, so until then, you guys have a beautiful, safe, wonderful week, and we will see you next Sunday for the final episode. And let the church say, Amen.
Bye, guys.
Pew, 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 pew.